Right, the championship has returned, which means the return of the championship predictions, and this season 2 days away from the start of every match week I will attempt to predict every single fixture for that match week. I am a little late for this week, sorry about that. Welcome to the Blue Dragon YouTube channel, the home for all things Championship and Premier League. Put in the comments your predictions, and the person who gets the most predictions right gets a shout out in the next predictions video for the Championship. You don't have to put the exact score, just home, away or draw. Remember, not every one team can win 100% of the time, so don't be an idiot in the comments. If you do enjoy the video, then leave a like and subscribe to see my take on your team's games this season. Other than that, let's begin. Preston North End versus Sheffield United. This should be an interesting one, with Sheffield United being smacked about in the top division for a year and Preston have been sat around in the Championship for years. It looks like Sheffield United player Kiefer Moore won't be available for this fixture after not featuring against Huddersfield in a pre-season friendly. Overall, I think this could be a very cagey game for both sides and could result in a draw, but Preston are at home for this one. I will go with 1-0 to Preston, with it being a bit of a cagey game and the Blades scoring early in the game, but I can't imagine this game being a thriller at all. Derby County versus Blackburn Rovers. This game for me is what I will be watching on Friday night. It is a very interesting one to me, as it will show the quality of the newly promoted teams up against a side who struggled last season in the Championship. Derby have made some good signings in the transfer window, such as Adams from Cardiff, who I like as a midfield option at this level. Blackburn have still managed to keep hold of Sammy, so that will be a massive boost for them over the course of the season if he stays, but the club are still in talks with Ipswich Town. I think this will be a low-quality yet entertaining game, and I am going to go for a 2-2 draw at Pride Park. Cardiff City versus Sunderland AFC. This one for me will be another interesting one, as I will be at this game as a Cardiff City fan and a season ticket holder. Sunderland and Cardiff had very similar season last season. Sunderland have had quite a transfer window, signing Alan Brown from Preston, who a decent player is, but for once I am really happy with the signings we have made this summer. I saw Chris Willock in a pre-season game, and he looked electric. Also Robertson from Manchester City, so I would love to hear from any QPR or Portsmouth fans on those players. But overall, with Cardiff being at home, I can see us coming out narrow 1-0 winner at the Cardiff City Stadium. Queen's Park Rangers versus West Bromwich Albion. I think this game will help us understand a lot more about QPR now. I think most people do expect them to push on, but just how far up the table do I think they will push with a good gaffer in place after a really solid summer? West Brom sat in that 5th position almost every game week last season. They also have a good manager in Carlos, and I have predicted West Brom to do well this season. Check out my Championship predictions for where I put them in the top right corner. Overall, West Brom I think will do well this season, and I am going to say they start with a 2-1 victory on the road in quite an open game. Middlesbrough versus Swansea City. Well, this game I think will give us an idea of where both teams are at, as with Middlesbrough it seems to me that you never know what you're going to get, and the same goes with Swansea. Neither side set the world alight in the summer. It will be interesting to see how Luke Williams can do in his first full season as Swansea boss, and Middlesbrough will be hoping to go one step further than last time and get into the playoffs. For this game I do see Borough domination at home. I'm going with a 3-1 Middlesbrough win, as I feel they will have too much at home for the Jack Army this time around. Leeds United versus Portsmouth. Now this is another one of these interesting games, and I'm sure you can tell why. Pompey absolutely destroyed League One last season and will be hoping to carry that momentum into the Championship, but to start their season they will have one of the hardest tests there is in the league this year. Quite frankly, this game is going to be played at Elland Road, and with the quality that Leeds have, I cannot see a way that Portsmouth can win this game. I think they will just want to get this one out of the way. For me though, I am going with a massive shock and Portsmouth to win 3-2 with a last-minute winner in a classic. I think this will be the game of the weekend, and you never know what could happen in the Championship. Millwall versus Watford. Last season both sides finished in similar mid-table predictions. Millwall are at home in this fixture, and it is always quite intimidating for away teams to go to the Den, especially on the first day of the new season. I like both manager Harris and Cleverley. I think they are very solid. Both teams have very similar quality squads, but Watford tend to keep the ball on the floor more. It will be a low-scoring game, as it normally is in these types of fixtures. As I said, I can't see this being the most entertaining game, but my gut says Watford to sneak a 11-0 victory away at Millwall to get their campaign off with a bang. I think both sides will be very evenly matched. Oxford City versus Norwich City. Finally, Oxford have returned to the Championship, but the question is, will they start with a bang? I think Norwich will improve a lot this season, and it will be good to see them back in action against this Oxford side who have had a decent summer transfer window signings, the likes of Wolves, but have also lost Josh Murphy to Norwich, so he will be hoping to inflict some damage into his old club this time around. Personally, I think Oxford will struggle this season in the Championship up against high-quality teams, and I don't think they will be able to cope with this Norwich side. I've seen a lot of people go for a surprise, but I am going to go with a 3-0 away win. Stoke City vs Coventry City. It will be interesting to see how Coventry start this season. Will they be able to get off with a bang against Stoke? Most have tipped the Potters for mid-table, and I've seen people putting Coventry all over the place from 1st to about 17th. I think they will do quite well this season. They of course have good momentum coming of a 3-0 victory against Everton, but we know you can read much into those games. As for Stoke, they will be hoping to give their fans something to cheer about at home for the first time in a while. I do think this will be a very low-scoring game, maybe one goal in it, so I'm going to go 1-0 to Stoke on the opening day for a bit of a shock at home. Hull City vs Bristol City. Now here is another one of these interesting games. Obviously Hull are looking down and Bristol City are looking up at the moment. Hull obviously have nowhere near the quality of squad they had last year, and there is something about this Bristol City side that makes me think they will be pushing for 6th position next season. I think we could see some absolute screamers in this game, and it being very high scoring with both sides having a lot of attacking flair. I am going for a 3-1 Hull City win at home to kickstart their campaign with a bang at the expense of Bristol City, as I just think home advantage plays a massive part in the first game of the season. Sheffield Wednesday vs Plymouth Argyle. This game was a key one in the fight for survival last season, but who knows where these two teams could end up by the end of the season. I think, like many others, that Plymouth will struggle in this one up against a Sheffield Wednesday side who do have home advantage. But the first game of the season last season was played at Hillsborough, and that one ended as a win for Southampton, who are now in the Premier League. It will be interesting to see how this Plymouth side sets up under the management of Wayne Rooney. For me in this one, with the home fans behind me, I'm going to have to say 2-1 to Sheffield Wednesday, and I think they will do well this season. Luton Town vs Burnley. For our final fixture, it is an absolute banger and potential for game of the weekend at Kenilworth Road. How good are both of these sided after being relegated from the Premier League? For me, I see these two clubs being quite evenly matched, not just in this game but throughout the whole championship season. And there is a real possibility that this game decides who. In the Premier League, these two sides drew once and then Burnley won the second game. I think Burnley will have the new manager bounce, but Luton have home advantage, and their players are very evenly matched, so in final fixture I'm going with a 1-1 draw at Kenilworth Road. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Put your predictions down in the comments to get a shout out at the start of the next video. And remember to come back next week for match week 2. I wish your team the best of luck for the first match week, unless you're Sunderland or Swansea. If you did enjoy, then like the video, it helps massively, and if you want more content like this then please subscribe. But other than that, good luck with your team. I hope you have a good day and come on the boys.